What's up, YouTube? I uploaded the video of the Channon Christen and the Chris Newsom case. Been watching some of the court footage, and Channon's dad did an impact statement on Mr. Cobbins' sentencing, and I think it's one of the most emotional ones I've seen. I also saw his Levante, or whatever his name is, Mr. Cobbins, testimony at trial, where he tried to play down his part, which I say he was a witting accomplice along with his girlfriend. But anyway, we're gonna make this video about Channon. So without further ado, if you like this content, hit the like button, subscribe for more videos, and I'll be updating and uploading some new things as I find it.
Christen, you're still under oath, sir. Have a seat. Mr. Christen, you previously testified that you are the father of Channon Christen.
Yes, I am.
And you prepared a statement there that, to tell the jury about who Channon Christen was and what her loss has meant to you.
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell the jury what you prepared?
Channon had a beautiful face. Channon had a beautiful smile. She had a beautiful heart. She loved her friends. She would set up, seen her all night, holding hands with a friend that had a fight with a boyfriend. I've seen her sit up all night and talk to her closest friend in the world all night about how she was missing her father that had passed away. She loved her brother. Seen her follow him over 5 states, watching him play baseball. She was committed to him. All the way from the age of 10 years old, all the way through his college career. She was always there. Nobody could say anything negative about her brother. She'd let him have it. She loved her mother. I watched this over 21 years. She was not just mother and daughter. They were best friends. I will never forget the last thing she said to me was, "I love you." She was a proud young lady. proud of her friends. She was proud of her family. She was proud of her education. She was proud of her school. She was proud of her faith in God. She was proud of her desire to help children. And one of the things that hurts the most is she was proud that she saved herself for a husband someday.
And that right here is a really hard thing, as it seems like she was doing all the right things to end up the way she ended up. And my father, you want to call him that, he was there during my childhood. He was a sperm donor, but to this day, I've never once heard "I love you" out of his mouth. Never once have I gotten a kiss or a hug, you know. Don't even call to check on me. And here this man is, broken down, beat down.
My wife, my son, and myself. We think about her every day. Every minute.
And that's got to be really hard for him because, you know, probably something happens in his day and he'd stop to think of her and, oh, she would love it. I'll have to tell her that when I get home. And then, you know, it has to pop in his head. She's already home.
We think about her in everything we do. Since she was taken away from us, I don't think that we have had one single day that we could honestly say was complete.
I don't know if you noticed how he keeps sniffing. If you watched the video before this one, he's heartbroken. Like when he's talking about where she was in the recliner. And if you didn't see that video, just go back to my previous video and you will see it. And then he talks about the rage. So I think part of it, what it is he knows one of the killers, you know, it's right across from him. So he's trying to think positively of his daughter, and it's hurting him so bad, and he's holding back the tears. But he's also holding back his anger. And in this impact statement, he has never one time said Mr. Cobbins or Combs or whatever you want to call him name. I think that's the best thing anybody could do.
We have all tried everything we know. We have sought the help of a doctor, to try to deal with the hate that we live with. endless
Breathe, Daddy,
thoughts
breathe.
of the pain and the horror.
And as in the video before this, if you hadn't saw it, when Channon was with Chris, they were supposed to go to a party that night. Instead, they decided to stay at a friend's house and watch a video. It was out by the car, and that's where they got carjacked. But Channon had called her mom, which her dad had answered the phone and said, "No, I'm coming home. I'll be home shortly." Her mom stayed up, and she never came home. The forerunner was not found by police. And what he's getting ready to go through is extremely hard.
That she endured. And the pictures that have been put into our minds of her last hours. I live with the thought
And you know, if you've ever been Daddy's girl, which I've never been, both of my boys were Mom's boys. But you know, you gotta think from his point of view right here. And I've never met this man. But you gotta think from his point of view. He did everything for 21 years to protect that girl. He thought he did everything right. And what he's getting ready to say has got to kill him. You know, daddies are supposed to be able to fix everything. You know, there's nothing that doesn't go by that daddies cannot fix. And he wasn't there to fix this. And I think that burden weighs on his heart so much. For him.
that when my son and I, with the help of
Oh God, this
a
part.
bunch of college kids and an old
This part is extremely sad for me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting emotional on this, but this is just extremely sad.
man found her forerunner. Was she still alive? In that can. Not 200 yards from where I stood.
Oh, God.
And nothing.
And if you didn't see my previous video, what he's talking about is they raped both Channon and Chris that night, both of them, and tortured them. Chris, they took out to the railroad tracks behind the house and shot him 3 times and set him on fire and killed him. They kept Channon alive and repeatedly raped her and beat her, poured chemicals on her, poured chemicals down her throat. And according to Mr. Cobbins' account, his brother took her in the kitchen, put her in a headlock, and she fell. They didn't know if she was dead or not. So they tied her up in a fetal position and stuck her in a garbage bag. Not one garbage bag, not two garbage bags. They stuck her in 5 garbage bags, and she was still alive. Put her in a garbage can and left her to die. And he didn't know it. He was standing 200 feet from her. Do you know how he must feel now? Oh, we found her car. We're going to find her. And he didn't know. And it's not his fault. But this man has went through so much. And probably to this day he's going through a lot.
That anybody says, not a doctor, not our friends, not even what we say to each other, makes that horror go away. I will never get to say yes to a young man. I will never get to walk her down the aisle. I will never dance with her at her wedding. I will never get to hold my 4 grandchildren she wanted to have. I will forever live with the constant nagging, haunting thought of my daughter calling to me to help her, to stop them from hurting her.
And this wonderful person at his sentencing, he says all he did is he received oral sex from her. He had nothing to do with this. It was all his brother and his brother's friend. He had no idea they were going to carjack someone, and he was going to leave this girlfriend and the friend that he brought down. But what I find funny is the whole reason they poured chemicals on her and down her throat is they were trying to destroy DNA evidence, thinking they would have gotten away with it. You know, so his supposed thing was, oh, he went in there and she was still tied up, and he had her hands were bound above her head, tied to a duffel bag with a bunch of weights in it, and her feet's the same. She asked for water. He went and got her water, because he was just this kind-hearted person. And then she said, could you talk him and let us go? Oh, please, I'll offer oral sex. And oh, she gave me oral sex and that. And he says that's all he did. That was the worst thing he did. Then he talks about how his brother left. Not one time, left twice from the house. And the only people that was there was him and his girlfriend. He could have saved face and said, you know what, I'm not going to have this. He could have called the police, said, hey, look, my brother just got out of jail for carjacking. He's uncarjacked someone else. They're here. He's torturing them. He's doing this. He's doing that. No, all he says is, oh, well, my brother left again, and with me and Vanessa just sat around the table, you know, looking stupid. was even able to get a ride back to Kentucky, and called his mom that night, and his mom asked him, "Did you call the police?" Well, no. Well, why didn't you call the police? No, he wanted to leave. He wanted this and stuff. He didn't want to go to jail like his brother. And then they get in Kentucky, and they're all over the news wanted for questioning. And all he did was got a oral sex from her, a blowjob. Really, dude?
Never. Well, I stopped hearing my daughter's voice. For me to save her. Someday, I hope that I get to tell her that I'm sorry.
And this part that's coming up, when he talks about every time they part each other, what they did, just kills me every time I hear it. And I'm the same way with my kids. Never once let them leave without letting them know how much I love them and showing them that. Because you never know.
I was just down the street.
Oh, God.
I was trying. But I didn't hear her. I couldn't hear her cries.
And also, this abduction happened on a Saturday after, it was after midnight. Chris, if I'm not mistaken, was executed that Sunday morning. They kept Channon alive all of that Sunday. They didn't put her in the garbage can until Monday morning. I just can't.
We had a thing, me and her. I don't think I ever parted without saying I love you. And she would say, I love you more. I hope she knows, once and for all, I love her more.
And when he gets off the stand, that look he gives him, I think if his eyes were guns, he would have done shot him. Lord. Well, that's it. I hope y'all liked that. If you liked that, just leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Like this video. Share it with your friends. I think it's a travesty that this case was not nationalized as much as it should have been. But with that said, love y'all, and I'm out to hear y'all.